Welcome to Hump Day Lunch Break Live. I am Beth Maxwell, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I am super excited to bring you a fun fall project today. One of my favorite things about fall is the leaves on the trees change colors from all the different greens out there to oranges and golds and reds and purples and all different colors, and it's always beautiful at this time of year in Wisconsin because all the trees change. It's probably one of my most favorite times of year. That, and I think my other favorite thing about fall is being able to wear my fall sweaters. So I do love wearing sweaters, and I really do love summer weather though. I very much like the warm weather, but in fall I get all cozy with a nice cup of tea and a nice sweater. So, well, while I'm waiting for people to join, hello, I'm going to just kind of get set up a little bit. I need to bring some things out because we're going to be doing some heat embossing today on our card. So let me move this out of the way. Now, I will have all of the products listed in the comments of this event. In fact, I'm going to put them there right now. And they'll also be listed on my webpage. And shortly after this video, I will be posting this on YouTube. So let me just get my list. Oops, where'd it go? Oh, it disappeared. Let's try that again. And we'll just paste that. There we go. So there should be a nice long comment now with all of the information there. And hopefully you'll see it all. Okay, where did my... I just lost my page. All right. Hello, Diane. Hello, Beth. Hello, Barbara. Welcome, everybody. Hope you have your lunch in front of you and ready for a little lunchtime video. Tell me what you're having for lunch today. I actually ate early, so I scooped up some pizza that I made and enjoyed that. All right, I'm bringing in some of my grid paper just because I need a little bit of background on my tabletop so I'm not making a mess on my table. But this is the beautiful card that we're going to be making, and we're going to embellish it a little bit more. This is just kind of my basic one, but I'm going to show you how to do that. So the colors that we need are going to be a piece of fresh freesia, and this is 8.5 by 5.5, and we'll go ahead and fold that in half, or you can score it at 4 1/4. I'm just going to fold it right in half with my bone folder here. Give it a nice crisp crease. Okay, that, I don't know what's on there. Oh, it came off. All right, and my card's going to go this way. And then I need a piece of Blackberry Bliss, which is 4 by 5 1/4, so 4 inches by 5 1/4. And a piece of basic white. This is 5 inches by 3 3/4. And I'll have all the measurements listed on my website, so I will put a link to the website. It'll be in the comments of the Facebook video, and if you're watching on YouTube, it will be in the description. Okay, and then I have a scrap piece of rich raspberry. So actually, well, I'll show you what I'm going to do with that one. I'm just going to take this punch right here, and I'm just going to punch that out. And I just realized I listed the wrong punch on there. This punch is actually from our Handmade Wishes bundle in our mini catalog. Oh, I can't believe I put the wrong one down. And the name of this punch is, let me get the correct name. I can't believe I put the wrong one in. I'll fix that right after the video. It is, where is it? It is called the Handmade Tag. It's on page 21 of the holiday catalog. Now, if you don't have one of these catalogs and don't have a demonstrator, just pop me a message, let me know, and I will contact you to get one sent out. So here is the bundle that it comes with. So it comes with the stamp set, or you can purchase the punch individually, but I'm using this punch right here. So that is the Handmade Wishes or I'm sorry, handmade tag punch. All these names to try and remember. Jeez Louise. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab in this amazing accessory kit. So this is our new embossing additions tool. And this is great because it comes with well, that's my old one, sorry. It comes with a new little embossing buddy. You will get this awesome brush and also a tweezers so you can hold your projects. So, and then the tray, which is really nice because it's got this nice little dial cap to it. So after you fill your embossing powder here, you can just pour it out easily. So let's get that on there. We'll pull out the little brush here. We'll need that. And I just need to reach over here and get some white embossing powder because that's what we're going to be using today. Now I'm going to show you, well, I will stamp with Versamark on my white cardstock, but you're not going to see it very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a piece of scrap colored cardstock just so you can see how the embossing works. So I'm going to use this scrap here. So let's get that done first. So I'm going to pull in the Soft Seedlings stamp set. I know some of you have this. It is really just a beautiful set. I do have other cards to show you at the end of the video, so make sure you stay tuned. I'm going to use this large leaf image for right now. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up with my Versamark. Now, be careful you don't get the edges. So right here, I noticed I have the edges. I need to get that cleaned because what will happen is the embossing powder is going to stick to that Versamark ink. So we don't want to have all those shadows. So when you're stamping, just gently go up and down. You can go back and forth. Don't press down really hard. And that really goes for any of the stamp pads. Don't press down really hard on your stamps because you're going to get those shadow images if you do. All right. So I'm just going to stamp this right here. All right. So it's a little hard to see. So the watermark ink leaves a little, very subtle stamped image. I think you can see that a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually take my embossing powder and I'm going to pour it right on there. Close that up before I spill it. And I'm going to tap it off. Okay, so now you can see that I have a couple other specks there that I don't want. And so I'm just going to take my brush, kind of brush away, tap that a little bit more, brush that away. And then I'll bring in my heat tool. So this does get a little loud. I'll try to talk over it. What I like to do is I like to heat this a little bit first before I come back in and melt my embossing powder. I do want to move my tray out of the way because I don't want it, number one, to blow all over, but number two, to melt in my tray. So let's get that moved out of the way. Hopefully to a spot I don't spill it. All right. So when you emboss, you're going to heat your powder up. So it goes from kind of a grainy powder to a nice shiny finish. So you can start seeing it transform there. Just make sure that you heat it up. Now, if you have a smaller piece of cardstock, that is where this comes in handy. So you can hold it right here. We just want to show you how heat embossing works, and then I'll show you how I'm going to stamp the card. So you can see how it all of a sudden just went from that powder to all that shine. I like to go back over. If you find your paper is curled up, just go underneath and heat it up a little underneath. Now, this particular stamp set has a distinctive pattern to it, and that means some areas are going to be heavier with ink and some are going to be lighter. So that's how this is going to look. And I wanted to show you that because, like I said, on my white, it's not going to show up as well. So let's go ahead and grab that stamp again. And we'll grab our Versamark. And I'm going to just stamp this corner. I'll stamp one up on the top. And then I'm going to come back in this other corner. right over here. All right. So now I'll go ahead and take this in my little tray here. Just going to turn it a little bit, making sure I'm getting all the areas that I want. Again, just kind of flick on there a little bit to get some of the excess off. If I find I have excess, I just want to take my brush. I kind of get that up. Actually, that part was one of those seedlings. Let me just get a little bit more embossing powder over there. There we go. Because I do want that little image there. All right. So then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and heat that. Now, for the sake of the video, I've already done that. I'm just trying to save myself a little time for you. So I've already heat embossed it. It's kind of hard to see, but that's okay. It won't be shortly. So the next thing I need to do is I need to grab a napkin. Now, you can grab a Kleenex or a paper towel. Just make sure whatever you grab doesn't have like the lotion on it. So if you grab a Kleenex, don't do it with the lotion. It doesn't work as well. Okay, I want to bring in my ink here. So the first ink I'm going to start with is going to be Fresh Freesia. And I need to bring in my blends, my blender brushes here. So here's the Fresh Freesia one. And here's the one I'm going to use for my blackberry. And I forgot my Fresh Freesia pad. It's a good thing my stamp room is relatively small, so I can get through it quickly. That and having to walk around my dog. All right. So I'm just going back on the comments, and I haven't seen what people are having for lunch yet. All right, so I'm just taking my Freesia here, and I'm just going to just go on various parts of my card. So I'm just dabbing on there. I'm kind of tapping off a little bit, because if I don't, what will happen is, I'm going to flip my card over, and I start going like that. See how I have that big mark there? I don't want that. So if I tap off on my paper and then I go back on, I don't have that mark. So again, I'm just tapping on my stamp pad, going off on my paper, and then coming in a little bit more. All right. I can always come back and add more color if I want. I'm going to go to my Blackberry Bliss now. And tap in there. Now this ink's going to be pretty dark. So I'm just going to go up here a little bit. I think I'll do some over here. Get that kind of dark over on that side. And I'll come back in over here. So you can make this as dark or as light as you want. I know it's not looking like much at the moment, but it will be gorgeous. Just give me a moment. All right. And I'll just go ahead and blend that in. All right, here we go. Now, close up these stamp pads and get them out of the way. I'm going to bring in my napkin, and I'm just going to rub on those embossed images. What will happen is, where the ink is sitting on top of the embossing powder, it will rub off. So I might have some areas that are more white. And then in these areas here, where it was distinctive, the ink settled onto the paper there. So I've got some little distinctive markings in there. So again, just your fingers are going to get a little inky. Heavy little bottle of hand sanitizer there. All right, so I'm just making sure I have all of that wiped up. Because if I don't, that will transfer to whatever else I'm going to be using if I don't have the excess ink wiped up. All right, so now let's just get rid of this one. I'll just have this one right here. I'm going to pull back in my Blackberry Bliss. And this time I'm going to grab another, oopsie. Oh, please. Just put that right there. I'm going to grab this seedling here, or whirligig or helicopter, whatever you called it as a kid. And we'll get another block. And now this time I'm just going to stamp it in Blackberry Bliss randomly throughout my card. And I do want that very vibrant dark color. And it's okay if I stamp on the embossed pieces, because there'll be some more magic. Hold on. You're going to love it. Stamp that there. I'll stamp another part here. Let's get one up here. And then right down there. All right. So I'm going to bring back in my napkin. And now I'm just going to go over some of those areas where I had stamped over the embossed section. So notice now when I wiped away, it kind of looks like that stamped image is behind my embossed piece. So this is called Resist Embossed. Resist Embossing. And that's because the color will go behind your embossed image. So your embossed image resists picking up that color. All right, let's get that cleaned off. Let's get my other one cleaned off. All right, and let's kind of finish up this card. And put that aside. Let's pull in our pieces here. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this right to my Blackberry Bliss. I'm going to use my seal. I'm going to bring in some ribbon here. And I am using the Fresh Freesia Open Weave Ribbon. Say that once really fast. And I see a spot I forgot to wipe off. There we go. All right. So here's my ribbon. And you can tie a bow or a knot, whichever you prefer. I'm just going to tie a knot. And I can move my knot wherever I need to in just a minute. Just give myself a nice little knot. There we go. All right, that looks pretty good. Oh, let's trim those tails down just a little bit. Give it a little bit of a haircut. There we go. Throw those extra pieces away, and we can move that out of the way. All right, let's grab our piece of punched rich raspberry. Now I'm going to take a scrap of basic white. So I had this like 1-inch scrap left over from when I was cutting out some other white cardstock. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to just slide this in my punch. And I want to only get a portion of that. So I'm just trying to line it up so it's even on the tops and the bottom. So I'm just going to do that. So now I have a little mini tag. So not only do you get the large one, you can get a smaller one. So I am just going to end up putting this right on top here. But I want to stamp on it first. So I'm going to pull in my stamp set here. And I think we'll do... Let's see if the Thinking of You will fit on there. I don't know that it will. Well, you know what? Let's give it a try. If it doesn't, we'll switch it out with one of the other stamps. Or grab another sentiment from one of your other stamp sets. And I do actually have some samples with other sentiments. So I'll show you those in just a moment. All right. This is one of the first things I did when I first started stamping. So I decided I wanted to make Christmas cards one year, and I was going to heat emboss all of my Christmas cards. So I bought all sorts of sparkly embossing powder, and yeah, it was a lot of work. It was more than I thought it was going to be, because I did choose a really busy design. Okay, well, that's pretty good. So yeah, so my first experience embossing, probably not one of my better ones. So try a little bit, have fun with it. We're going to go ahead and put that right on there, just like that. So I'm just going to take some seal, and you know, I think we want to give it a little bit of dimension. So let's take our fresh freesia here again. I'm going to just take my brush, and I am just going to gently add some color around the edges. It'll kind of make it pop out from that label a little more. So you can see where I went with my very basic initial design. I didn't do any of that. I didn't add any sparkle. So this one, we're going to step it up just a little bit. I'm going to put this one here and add a little more color here. There we go. All right. I think that will be good enough. Put some adhesive right on the back. Have those little edges kind of match up with my punch here. There we go. Okay, well, let's add some dimensionals to the back of that. Ooh, I almost added it to the front. That wouldn't have been good. And I'm just going to do it in the 4 kind of little sections over there. And now I can decide where I want to put this on my label. If I wanted, I could have actually turned that at an angle as well. I don't want it at an angle though. So I'm going to set this straight right on here. Now, 2 of my dimensionals will hold that ribbon in place. 2 of them are going to hold it to the cardstock. Let's put it on our card base. Make sure your card base is going the right way. All right. Okay. And so that's where I stopped with my first card. Now, I want to bring in some sparkle because we all need a little bling in our life, don't we? So I'm bringing in the adhesive back sequins and gems. This is also in the mini catalog. I just need a pair of snips to cut this open because it's actually brand new. Well, I mean, the product's been out for a while. I just haven't opened mine. So I'm opening it for you. It's debuting today on my Stamp Studio. All right. So you have these like all different kinds of shapes here. So you've got some like rhinestone, just, you know, basic silver. And then you've got, oh, I don't know if that's Coastal Cabana or this is Fresh Freesia, but these are little sequins here. So I'm going to take my little sequins and I'm going to randomly put them, oh, if I can pick it up, on the card. So some of these will kind of blend in. So what I'm going to end up doing is probably adding some of those larger silver ones. Oh, this is just really slick and it doesn't want to come off. All right. So add a couple of these larger silver ones here. Maybe add one right here. Oops. We'll have one up here. If I can get it off my fingers. All right. There. Right here. Yeah. And you can go, you know, add as many as your little heart desires on your card. All right. Let's stamp the inside, stamp the envelope, and we will be done. And I'll show you those alternative cards. So grab an envelope here. Let's bring in that large image again. So I have it right here. And I'm just going to use my Blackberry Bliss. And I know that I'm not going to stamp the whole image. So I'm just inking part of it, bringing in my scrap here. And stamping it right here. Just like that. And then this time, I'm going to re-ink it again. I'm going to stamp it off and then stamp my envelope. So you've got 2 different colors there. Set this aside to dry. I find that reds and blues, really dark and vibrant colors, tend a little longer to dry. So just make sure you set that aside before you smear it with your fingers. All right. And then on the inside of the card, I'll just take another piece of Basic White, another piece of Blackberry Bliss here. Let's go ahead and stamp this before I actually do that. So I'm just going to, it was still inked up. We'll huff on it a little bit. It's going to be a little bit lighter in color now. So just add that right there. And I can actually come up and do a little bit right there. So now I've got a little bit different color, but I've only used one stamp pad to get all those shades of that blackberry. Right. Just need to close a couple things. All right, so thinking of you, and then on the inside, you can take any other stamp set that you have to do your inside. I'm going to grab our Charming Sentiments here. And I'm going to stamp thinking of you, wishing you everything wonderful. Now this does come with a set of dies, so you can actually die cut out all of your phrases. So here's how that one looks die cut. I am not going to on this card. We're just going to take it just like that. Again, I want to stay kind of with the same color theme I've been doing, so I'm just going to use my Blackberry again. And I'll look through and shoot everything wonderful. All right. We'll go ahead and adhere this. Again, being careful because that's probably still a little wet. Up on here. And the reason I'm adding that base behind it is because it is a 3 3/4 by 5 inch Basic White. So I wanted to give it a little bit more matting. Okay, come on, roll. For the inside. There we go. All right. So that is our card and our lovely little envelope to go with it. Again, don't have the embellishments. It's still a very beautiful card. All right, let's see some of those alternatives I was talking about. Let's get this all out of the way so I can share those with you, and then I'll let you go and have a great day. Let's see. So here's another one using the same fresh freesia and blackberry. This time I added some Wink of Stella to it. And I did the rock and roll technique on that. So that will be tomorrow night's class. Here is one. The inspiration for my original card came from Colleen Magnus. And this is the colors that she had used. She had used one of the greens in the soft suede. So I decided to change it up a little bit. I used soft succulent and soft suede, but then I paired it with evening evergreen. Oh, here. And this is taking that same punch, the same Charming sets, the Charming set, I can't even talk, Charming Sentiments stamp set, and the Sentimental dies, and I die cut out my greeting. Just added some gold ribbon there. All right, now a sneak peek at tomorrow night. I'm going to show you how you can make a handful of adorable cards. Just say. So that's your sneak peek for tomorrow night. Now, tomorrow night's live is not going to be at 6:44. It's going to be at 4:15. So I just need to change it up. I had to change appointments from last week that I had to cancel. So, yeah, it'll be a little earlier, but I'll post that on the Facebook page so you know what time I'll be starting, and you can always watch a replay. So thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed today's cards. Have a great day, and it is almost Friday. Bye.